Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
All right, we're going to talk about relationships today. We are social creatures. Relationships are just so important to all of us. And when it comes to a relationship, when somebody says these two words, and it could be people within the relationship or somebody else presents it to you, right away there's an elevation of concern. The two words are red flag. Somebody says, that's a red flag in that relationship. Or I think I'm seeing a red flag there. Right away, it gets your attention, as it should, but sometimes we don't see the red flags. We're going to look at all of this today in terms of relationships. She works with individuals, couples, adults, children. She's an amazing psychotherapist, and she's back with us. Susan Engel joins us here on the program. Once again, how are you?
I am fine, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, so happy to always be here and see if we can spread the information to the general public and get people that little drop in of psychotherapy here and there.
This is a topic that's not gotten a lot of attention, but it really should, because it's really important. And if you're in a relationship and things aren't what you think they should be, first of all, go with your intuition, bar none. If you're feeling something's off, probably something is off. And I'm not talking about you suspect somebody's shady. It could just be the way they treat you or the way it feels, or maybe it is a red flag. How would you define a red flag?
A red flag is when our body feels activated and it kind of sparks some sort of thought process or a visceral, like a body reaction. Like some people get a headache, some people get a stomach ache, some people feel nervous and tremble, or that thought process that sparked in, ooh, something's not right, and um, and it deserves some sort of attention. Because that's what a red flag in real life is.
Sure.
In sports, in a red flag, if you're driving and there's somebody waving a red flag for traffic control or something like that.
Caution.
Yeah,
Caution.
that's where it comes. Like slow down and let's assess.
Completely. And there's yellow flags in my world. Sometimes I'll think, all right, that could be a red flag, but I'm not really sure. I'm not going to pass judgment just yet. But they can't be ignored. But a lot of times we do ignore them.
Yes. And it's interesting. So there's so much, like this is it sounds like such a simple subject to discuss.
Right.
But it's really layered and deep, right? And if we ignore, which I think is physiologically impossible, so if we do not give attention to a red flag, how have we already learned in our lifespan, in our individual experience, to shut off that gut feeling? That's one thing to consider. Is like we've had a whole history, and where have we learned along the way to, as you said, ignore, or that we actually avoid taking a good hard look at a red flag. And once we learn how we learn to not trust ourselves, then we learn like looking at the red flags is like no biggie. It's actually really informative.
Do you feel that when
you're scratching your head?
No, this is bringing back lots of memories. I'll give examples. When you suspect a red flag, do you feel that most people already knew it?
I think that's what the red flag is for.
Yeah. Okay.
Red flag is, and I can think of my own experience where of course I saw the red flags, but in my mind at this time of my life, my adaptation was I can be very patient about this. I can be supportive of this situation, and or a lot of my clients say I can fix this person or help this person fix himself or herself. You know, so all these things are playing around. But I think that that's the red flag. If, yeah, if we skip the red flag, yeah, yeah.
Do you find that we ignore the red flags because we don't want to? Fundamental things here. It's going to create a change. We're afraid of change. We like to be comfortable. Let's say in a relationship, it might not be the best relationship, but you're comfortable. Doesn't mean you're happy.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the best. You're joyful. Everything's fantastic. It's just you don't want to make change. So it's like you see the flag. Somebody's waving a flag over here, but you're like, yeah, I don't really see it.
Well, I really think change gets a bad rap, but it's really a fear-based
Hmm.
defense to say, I'd rather settle for this or be in this situation than be alone again, or have to start dating again, or have to change jobs because I'm not happy with my job. Because even that, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be a job situation. It could be,
Sure.
but that fear base of what I think is it touches a little bit upon being alone or not fitting or this unconscious what's wrong with me, maybe it's me, and that's not always the case.
Hmm.
It's not always the case. But it's not healthy to be in a fear base. And I know I've talked about this one client before where her boyfriend or significant other would actually veer when the whole family's in the car, scare the whole family, scare the other drivers by veering close if somebody's trying to pass him. And it's just like, why would somebody be with somebody like that who's trying to keep you on edge and walk on eggshells and scared? That's beyond a red flag, right?
Mm.
But
And
that person stayed, and that person is afraid to be independent until you find the healthier person. Oh, go ahead.
that's an interesting one there, where I try to dissect. I try not that I want to figure people out, but I try to understand what
Yeah.
the motivation is for somebody to veer close to another vehicle. Are they just trying to show that they're large and in charge? Like, what's going on there?
No, I have no idea. I mean, it's
Mm.
just a very unhealthy way to express maybe they're angry about their life or something like that, but it's an element of road rage. But the issue was, why would the client be with somebody like that?
Right.
That's bigger than a red flag. And that's just a very fear-based um rationale.
So you feel that the client was afraid to not be with this person, and I got to believe
Not be with
if
anybody.
say that again.
I think that this client was afraid to be alone
Yeah. Yeah.
because that aloneness, that's like a core um awful feeling for somebody. Now we could feel alone, and sorry, I think I have to shut off my email. It's like dinging. Okay. We can feel alone and feel independent and okay and appreciate our solitude or allow ourselves to grow in our independence and then find a healthier person to be with.
And I have to believe that in that relationship, and no judgment, just trying to dissect it.
Yeah.
In that relationship, there's more going on. It's not just somebody taking the car and veering it over. That's just a piece of what's happening
Oh,
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just a little teensy weensy example of some sort of pattern that's happening in
Mm.
the relationship.
So let me throw something to you, and I'm going to say, let's do red flag or not. And I'm going to pull these from, my world and friends' world and all of that. Okay. Uh, Two people in a relationship, call them boyfriend, girlfriend, 2 years together. Kids are the exact same age, like within a couple of months,
Mhm.
and their kids have never met. So one of the and each individual person knows the other kids. They've met the kids, but the kids haven't met the other kids. So one half of the relationship says to the other, when are the kids going to meet? It's been 2 years. And the answer is, I don't know. How come? I don't know. And this is a real life situation I'm aware of.
Yeah,
Twice, the question was posed over a period of few months,
yeah.
and same answer came back, red flag or not.
Red flag because of this. Red flag because the other person said, I don't know, I don't know.
Mm,
Instead of saying really what is on that person's mind, why that person is, because I don't always buy, I don't know.
I agree.
I don't buy it. Like
Mm,
my clients know me. Like I say, well, take a minute. Maybe you're not used to finding the words to express these things. That's cool. But take a minute, even if you don't express it to me, and let me know if you do know. If you
mm,
go inward for a minute,
yep.
and but that's the red flag for me, not that those two kids haven't met yet. Um,
And they
but to
might be,
say,
maybe there is a valid reason, but if the reason isn't being expressed, then that's the reason. And maybe it's in that relationship, that person not ready for a future, if you will, and
yeah,
doesn't want to say it, can't say it, is afraid to say it, whatever it might be.
that could be it, or that could be. There could be so many. I mean, we could take a stabs at this, but it's the I don't know, not
Mm,
the fact that they've been dating for 2 years. They've each met each other's child, but the two children haven't met.
right.
That's not the red flag. The red flag is I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Again, everybody has a reason. There's no judgment on the reason, but if the reason isn't being
No,
given, that's
yeah.
and would you say it would be normal after a period of 2 years? And the kids are teens, not like they're little. Do you think that they should have met by then?
If the couple is headed in that direction. I mean, I mean, it's not going to be a matchmaker thing. Like just because the parents are going out doesn't mean the two teenagers are going to be all like buddy buddy. Like
Sure, but you don't
teenage,
know until you know.
right, right. So I mean, I think it's a very good modeling example for parents if their kids are teenagers or middle school age even
Mhm.
to say, look, we're not playing like some sort of let's blend our family, but I'm really having a lot of fun with so and so is really having a good time with me and our social life is really fun. And we would like for you all to meet each other.
Sure,
That's
I said.
great modeling because when our kids are teenagers, we want to meet their friends. And if we're all like, keeping that off limits, that's awkward. But
Yeah.
for the kids to meet each other after 2 years, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that that's a red flag. I don't really like, I don't personally, if I'm going to be dating an adult, I don't really like the part about our children meeting is not my goal to socialize and have an adult relationship.
Sure. And in this
That's
instance,
me.
the
That's
only
me.
what stood out is the kids are the same age, upper teens and mid-teens. That
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
their lives are the same. You would think they're going through the same in the same grade, college, whatever it might be. But I get what you're saying. And on the other side of that, my best friend been with somebody actually put them together through radio, believe it or not. Long story. Um, their kids met, a few years in, and didn't really go well. There wasn't a connection, and that's it is what it is. That's
I
the
think
the
that's great.
situation. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's great. I think like there's no harm, no foul to
Absolutely.
introduce them, but and I don't think there's any time limit. I could never answer that question. Like after 2 years, wouldn't you expect? I mean, I have no idea.
You
Like,
have probably been presented with so many of these quote unquote red flags in your career where people have bounced things off of you, right?
yes, and the thing is, like for the most part, once clients get into the momentum of the work, they start, and it's a very beautiful experience because they don't shame themselves. They don't say, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I see the red flags? Because I think that that's really unproductive and part of earlier core negative beliefs that develop within us. But they start understanding that one of their adaptations in life is I've trained myself for various reasons. And at the time that these things start, it's for good reason. But then it starts like not evolving in time. I've trained myself to not listen to my gut because that's how you started today. You said,
Mm.
we have that gut feeling, and then we see the red flag. Well, the
Mm.
gut feeling, when that switch shuts off for a client or for me at some point in my life, that's a problem. And I have to understand why I developed the ability to shut off my gut radar or
Mm.
connection feeling
Hmm.
and how I can learn that it served a purpose at the time, but it's not serving a purpose for the rest of my life.
Okay, let's look at that. um,
You
I
sound like
believe.
Doshi. Okay, let's
Well,
take a look at that.
I believe your intuition is your superpower. We were all born with the gut feeling, the intuition. It's there to support you. It's there. It's because we're still here. Go back to cave people time. Got a feeling there's a pterodactyl flying outside the cave. How am I going out there? I just know it. I'm feeling it. It's within, and a good thing I didn't because I just saw it swoop down, and we're all safe inside here.
You're
I don't
funny.
I don't think we can ignore the gut feeling. It's there for a reason. And in my experience,
Yeah.
I've ignored it. Absolutely. And I can tell you every time I did, I was radically wrong. And that's how I know it works, that we have to listen to it.
Listen. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we do you
And
feel that?
it's not ignoring the gut feeling. It's really adapting to, I better shut this off. And it's kind of like if you think about a little kid, and I'm sorry I interrupted you actually. Um, if you think about a little child and a little child has a gut feeling and goes to like a group in a social situation and
Mhm.
then says, just like without a filter, just says, you know what? Sometimes my parents act like children. Well, the parents are going to scold the kid. Like, first of all, don't be shaming us in public. Like, I wouldn't do that. I would be like, oh my God,
I'd be laughing.
I'd be checking myself.
I'd say, you're right. I am. I'm a big kid having fun with responsibility.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if a child says, my parents act like children, like they fight all the time, they
Oh,
bicker,
okay.
they this, they that. I'm not
Gotcha.
talking about fun.
Understood.
Then then um then the parents scold the kid for being disrespectful and for, sharing their privacy that they're ashamed of and that, well, they should be. If this is how a kid has to like get the news out, this kid is going to start to learn to shut off the gut. When the gut feeling comes to him or her, they're going to
Mm,
learn to not connect with that and not pay attention because the child was scolded. You get my
wow.
example.
I do. And I never, ever, ever thought about that. So we have, limiting beliefs and all of this going on within ourselves. But I never thought that even from a child, that you could intentionally turn off your gut feeling because of something you heard.
Yes. And the
Wow.
intention happens unconsciously
Yeah.
because the kid is like a rut row. I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want to, because the child is so young,
Wow.
they're dependent on the parents. So, you know, they can't say, like, my parents have a problem, like teenagers can, or even 10-year-olds can start saying, like, there's something wrong with this picture. But little kids, they're taught this stuff all the time.
Wow.
And then unconsciously, they say, well, I want to stay on the good side of my parents, and I'm not gonna look at that stuff either. So when my parents act in a reactive way or like children instead of like adults, the kids might feel overwhelmed or scared, but they're not gonna listen to their gut and try to
Mm.
figure that out. And then they have friendships and relationships or situations outside of the family, and their gut is saying, listen to me. And the kid is already disconnected until they
Wow.
come to therapy. Yeah.
um, I never even considered any of this. Like, seriously, wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Like we need to revisit all our other podcasts and like get to the stuff.
but this particular one, though, and it and
I'm
and it,
teasing you. I'm teasing
no,
you.
I get it,
Yeah.
but this rides along the lines of when we talk about the limiting beliefs or the things that we may have heard as a child that impacted us for the rest of our lives. I never thought of it as a child because of their environment or things that were said that they minimized their gut feeling and now they don't listen to it and maybe they go wrong. Maybe they miss the red flag.
Yes.
Wow.
And really, once even children in therapy understand this, then they say, wow, I can be freed from this really and actually learn to trust myself again. So when a friend does something cruddy and then says sorry, I can say, thanks for saying sorry, and it wasn't okay. Not, oh, it's okay. That's ignoring your gut. You know, if a friend does something lousy.
So deeper question, deeper question here. So we need to learn how to listen to our gut, and everybody has a different feeling. For me, it's a lighter feeling. It's the easier answer. Usually the harder one is you overthinking it. It can't be that easy. It's got to be hard. Whatever the feeling is that you get,
Yeah.
do you believe if we weren't jaded or had our feelings squashed when it was the gut feeling, if we took all of that away, those limiting beliefs from the childhood, do you believe that we would all be like super um almost psychic? You know, we'd be reading up on everything, we'd
I
be
don't
get
know.
it.
Yeah. Yes, I do think so. I don't think we'd be psychic.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
I think we'd be settled. I think we'd be
We'd figure things
connected.
out.
I
Yeah.
think we would be more intimate because if we can trust ourselves, that's our relationship with ourselves, then we can also not be guarded and trust other people until we can't, until
Yeah.
that person isn't healthy enough. And the thing is that you said overthinking, like it's easier to trust your gut than overthinking. Well, overthinking is just another method that we've picked up along life that interferes. Overthinking is not a tool. Overthinking is like a symptom of a
Hmm.
of a defense that blocks us from just like being copacetic with our situations.
I completely agree. And same
Yeah.
thing in the pterodactyl example. When
Which
that
is funny.
back then when the pterodactyl was outside the cave people didn't say, well, that can't be. Pterodactyls aren't flying this time of the year. I don't think it is. It's probably the wind or some. They weren't doing that. They were like, I ain't going outside. They right away
That's a
gut said
different
the
part
answer.
of the body.
Yes, it's
That's a
we.
brain. The amygdala, like I sense danger, so I'm not going to go outside of the cave. But anyway, it's
But
still
how did you sense danger? Where did that come from?
it comes from our really like that is just like a not a thinking thing. Danger comes from our whole nervous system, the alarm system. Like red flags, they should be like a little alarm, but our huge alarm system for many modern people are always revving. So if a caveman, I mean, this is a whole nother podcast.
Hmm.
We might have to continue it. But a caveman who's face to face with a saber-toothed tiger, it's not the same as a red flag. It's way too late for that.
Way too late. The
The
danger is
amygdala,
imminent. Yes,
the
that's different.
subcortical, yeah, but
I
that's
got you
not a
right
red
there.
flag. A
That's
red
not a red
flag
flag.
is managing ourselves during our
Right. This
yeah.
this is DEFCON 5. This is a eminent. We have a problem, Will Robinson. This is you got a problem. When I was talking about the potential pterodactyl flying, the K person didn't see it. They sensed it. Their gut was telling them
Oh, I like
that's
that.
that's what I was saying. I wasn't saying it's outside. No,
Yeah.
it's the feeling. But back then, I'm sure they didn't overthink it and say, well, it can't be. It's probably the wind. No, no, they probably said, I'm not going outside. I've got a feeling.
Yeah.
And any situation that I've even presented friends with, even one who's extremely intuitive in one situation, and there were red flags and all of that. And now I'm like, I can't believe this happening. You know what they said to me? They said, you knew. I'm like,
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
no, but they're right. I
They
did know.
knew, but
No,
they didn't listen to themselves.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what matters.
that's what
And
matters.
then it's like when we learn to listen to ourselves again, we have a much better outcome in life and in future relationships and future functions and jobs, everything.
But we
Just
don't.
sure of ourselves.
But we don't. And for all the reasons that you described, whether it's fear of abandonment, fear of a change of situation, we ignore those red flags, and we shouldn't. But that's why there's therapy. That's why there's
Yes.
therapy. How do we connect with you, Susie? How do we find you?
Really, people should go to my website. It's my full name, Susan Engel, SusanEngel hyphen LCSW.com.
You are available for all of this, whether it's a red flag or not.
Yes.
And just
Personal
love
development.
love your insight. Honestly, I've been aware of the limiting beliefs, things that we experience as children that pilot us today. I never ever considered somebody minimizing listening to their intuition because of that. Wow.
Great.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's that's something that we need to look into because you might be missing a lot
Yeah,
a
just
lot of
be
intuition.
aware. Yeah,
Mm.
be aware.
Thank you for being here today. Cool conversation. Appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon, okay?
Yes, thank
Thanks.
you.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.